Hey there. I think I'm up and running. How are you guys? Good to see you. Um, it's a little later in the afternoon. Did you miss me? Wondering where I've gotten to? Did you think I wasn't going to show up? Or did it probably not matter at all? Uh, oh well. Here I am. Happy Holy Saturday. I think this is my favorite day of Holy Week because nothing happens. Nothing happens after a very busy week. With Easter looming, nothing happens. Except around the church, everything is happening because, well, we've gone from Good Friday and Maundy, Thursday, where we stripped the chancel of all of its accoutrement and left it kind of bare to commemorate the stripping of Jesus' life from his body and the stripping of his body's clothing and its deformation, the stripping of its health. And so we are putting it all back together for an Easter celebration. Have to be careful. Don't let anybody put flowers in on Good Friday. Every now and then somebody tries to do that. But Pastor, Easter's coming. Yeah, well, we got to do Good Friday first. Let's let Jesus die before we move on to resurrection. Oh, they get it. They get it fine. And today, it was kind of busy this morning and early afternoon, but we went at a slower pace, I'd say. Didn't rush. Couple of us slowly put the chancel and the sanctuary back to sort of an Easter celebration. But you know, in these coronavirus times, we're not overdoing it. We're not packing in the lilies. The orchids we have, I've had on my back stairs for this last year when somebody donated an orchid and it was wilting. I took it home, watered it, and guess what? All the white lilies of Easter, the yellow, not lilies, orchids, the yellow orchids of Easter, and even the purple orchids of Lent have all been sort of blooming on time. Don't ask me how or why. I just throw ice cubes on them a couple times a week and let the water seep down. That's kind of a Holy Saturday approach. Throw the ice cubes on and just sit back, see what happens. Mark says nothing about Holy Week. From the end of chapter 15, we jump right into chapter 16 and the 8 verses that we're going to read tomorrow in church. There's silence. Something we have a hard time with, I think. We've always had a hard time, we humans, with silence, haven't we? But we particularly do in our busy-oriented culture. Do something. Don't just sit there. Plan something. Say something. It's so hard for us to wait. I wonder if in our culture it's hard for us to wait because when we do, when we stop, when we sit still, we're afraid that we might find something out about ourselves and our world that we don't like. Like we've been wasting time on a lot of things that don't matter and missing out on all the things that do. Like maybe we have to deal with grief. So many of us have died. They say like 1 out of 3 people in the United States have lost someone close to them to coronavirus, to the COVID-19. So maybe it's hard to sit with the grief. Maybe sitting in the silence reminds us of our own mortality. Maybe it reminds us that we are more alone in the world than we realize. I can't tell you how many people have told me this last year that when they were in the lockdown, they didn't know who to call, who to email, who to text. They realized, Pastor Keith, I don't have any close friends. I don't have any close friends. Sometimes churches rush to Easter because we've been bought into the culture of success at all costs. We've bought into the culture of overabundance. We've bought into the culture of what I call cheery, cheesy optimism instead of biblical hope. Biblical hope grounded in the midst of death and dying, sorrow and sadness in our broken humanity. Our beautiful humanity that is so broken. And so we rush people in our congregations and in our neighborhoods to Easter so that we don't have to deal with the grief, the sorrow, the sadness. We don't even have to deal with the notion that all of Jesus' vision and plans and purposes ground to a halt on Good Friday. And now what? Now what? Just sit back and go, what? What? What next? The rush to reopen leads to surges in infection and death. If this last year hasn't taught us anything, the rush to conclusion kills. It infects, it breaks, it maims, it traumatizes, it wounds, and it kills. So does the rush to Easter. It's kind of a poetic, symbolic move that describes the last year. That reopening in June and July, and then the shutdown again, and then tentative openings and shutdowns, and we may have to shut down again. At least the president's saying, keep wearing your mask. Where'd I put it? Oh, they're all by the door in case I have to go out the door. The denial of death, that even in the midst of death itself, we have to pretend isn't real. You know, they say people are buying online already, fancy go out and party clothes. They're buying them already because as soon as they can, they're out the door and we're back to the roaring 20s that my grandma and grandpa indulged in before they came to their senses. The denial of death is strong. And it's stronger and stronger and stronger in our technologically oriented, technique-oriented culture. Move on. Get over it. Move forward. The vaccination is going to fix everything and we'll go back to normal. Except it's not. Even as I got one of my shots. But back to normal? I saw a cartoon the other day, a man and a woman, I'm assuming a young couple, sitting on their couch. And they're both kind of curled up looking at each other, talking very earnestly. And the man says to the woman, what do you mean go back to the old normal? I'm just getting used to the new normal. Let us use Holy Saturday as a symbolic pause for reflection. To say, now what? What matters most? What's essential? Do I really need to go back out and go to Party City? Shed my mask, infect others, get infected? We are a Holy Saturday people. This is what God's call in the crucified one is about. To stop in the midst of crucifixions between Good Friday and Easter. Pause and say, what's going on? What's important? What counts? Yeah, this is where we pause and we wait for Jesus. We wait for God to act. I believe in resurrection. I believe in hope. And I am, to that extent, optimistic. Because without that sense that that's the last word, joyfully ever after, I'm not going to be able to stop. But I know I can stop because tomorrow is all set. I can stop now and say, what counts? What matters most? What's essential? What's going on? What's my next step? So, my friends, I want to wish you what's left of a holy, happy Saturday. I want to wish you a happy, holy Saturday. In about 4 hours, a little under 4 hours, we're going to hold an Easter vigil on Facebook, and you're invited to join that. Join me in that. If it's not too bad out and I'm up for it, I'll wander up to the church and we will bless the resurrection candle, the Paschal candle. Paschal meaning suffering that leads to resurrection, and we'll light it. A little light in a great big dark, a great big beautiful dark, where the darkness and the light come together and feed off each other and make something beautiful. Kind of like Holy Saturday and Easter Sunday, all rolled into one. I will look forward to seeing you. Blessings, stay safe, and enjoy the silence.